Hey guys, so as we all know, this year is the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and I just wanted to make a video speculating some of the things that I think that they might do this year. Since there's still no news about a Pokemon Direct, and so far all we've gotten is the trailer for Pokemon Snap, as well as some other small things like merch and Katy Perry apparently making a song for whatever reason. And well, since February 27th is less than a month away, I thought that it would be fun to talk about a few things that may end up happening. So if you guys have any theories that I don't talk about in this video, make sure to let me know down below. So first off, we have the big one, which is the Sinnoh remakes. And if you've been subbed to my channel for a while, you would know that I love Generation 4 and everything about it. So I'm beyond hyped about all of the leaks and can't wait till it's finally announced. And I've made multiple videos talking about the remakes and everything I hope it ends up becoming, so if you guys haven't already seen them, go ahead and check them out. Now, next up is something that I think has a very high possibility of happening, which is I think that Nintendo might remaster some fan favorites for the 25th anniversary. Similar to the way that they did for Mario's 35th anniversary, when we got the Super Mario 3D All-Stars bundle. And before I continue, I just want to be clear, I have no idea what they're going to do, but given that we've had silence from Nintendo about any new games, I think that they might be hiding something that's going to excite a lot of fans. And the first of which is also what I think is the most likely to happen. And that, my friends, is that I believe that Nintendo might end up porting the beloved Game Boy Advance titles, Fire Red and Leaf Green, as well as Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And all 5 of these games would be put into one cartridge for the Switch exactly like they did with 3D All-Stars. And here's my reasoning as to why I think that they might do this. So first off, let's take a look at the 3DS system. So on the 3DS, they had ports of the Generation 1 and Generation 2 games, and to some people's disappointment, mine included, they didn't bring any of the Generation 3 games to the 3DS. Which is honestly a little understandable, since you could play those on a first generation DS if you still had that lying around somewhere. Which is also assuming that you had the Game Boy Advance system originally. But since the DS came out 17 years ago, and the Nintendo DSi system was released 4 years later, and for most people, they would just move on to the DSi since it was newer. But it also noticeably lacked a Game Boy cartridge slot, so from the point that the DSi came out in 2008 till when Red and Blue came out in 2016, for most fans of the Generation 1 Pokemon games, those games weren't easily accessible, unless you were either lucky enough to track down a working Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color on top of the actual cartridge itself, or alternatively, you were old enough to have had one laying around for over 10 or so years. And for most fans, as a kid, you don't think, hey, I'm gonna need this stuff for nostalgic purposes when I get older. Instead, maybe you would give it to a younger relative, just like I did. So in many cases, just like mine, you're forced to sit around until they either remake or re-release them. And what better way to re-release them than on the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, which, may I point out, would have the very game that started this amazing franchise in the first place. Just like how 3D All-Stars has Super Mario 64, which started off the 3D Mario games. And it doesn't hurt that these are some of the most highly revered games in the entire Pokemon franchise. And personally, my first Pokemon experience was Emerald, so I would love to see any of these games re-released. So I am willing to bet money that Fire Red and Leaf Green, as well as the rest of the Generation 3 Pokemon games, are what we will get for Pokemon's 25th anniversary. And I don't know about you, but I would be more than willing to spend $60 on all 5 of these classic Pokemon games. But assuming that we do get Diamond and Pearl remakes, maybe 3 different Pokemon generations in 1 year is overdoing it. But don't get me wrong, I would love to get all of those games, given that they actually end up doing this. But assuming that we do end up with Diamond and Pearl remakes, I think an alternative that might make more sense in the grand scheme of things would be one of these 2 things. And the first of which is also the one that I think most people would love to see actually happen, which is a complete remake of Pokémon Colosseum and Pokémon XD Gale of Darkness. And I'm hoping for a total remake over just a remaster, purely because I want to be able to use more than just the first 3 generations of Pokemon, on top of them having more updated graphics and 3D models, and also with them giving us the ability to use some of the Pokemon that we can't get in Sword and Shield. And given that we now have Pokemon Home, we can also use it to transfer Pokemon back and forth between the 2, similar to how you could use your teams from Ruby and Sapphire in the GameCube reshaped versions of these games. And considering that Shadow Pokemon, which were the gimmick for these games, have been in Pokemon Go for quite a while, and that both of these games are almost 20 years old, I do genuinely believe that this has a chance of happening. Thanks to the new Pokemon Snap coming out, which is only 4 years older than these games. And maybe they could also tack on Pokemon Battle Revolution, since they play roughly similar to one another. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if you guys have anything that you would like to see Nintendo do for the 25th anniversary, let me know down below in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I appreciate all of the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.